Good morning, everybody. Bridget Patton here with Soul Massages. I just received one of the most beautiful messages, and I just wanted to pass it along to you guys. A lot of the time, the wisdom that I receive from Spirit after having worked in direct connection with Source for so many years ends up as a feeling or an emotion and an awareness. And sometimes it could take months, years, weeks, whatever, for that wisdom to be able to come into words. And this is something I've been contemplating for a while how to share with you guys, but I'm so excited to pass this information on because I really believe that this will have a huge impact on the way that you view your surroundings, the way you view your experience here on earth, and how you view yourself, most importantly. So I was sitting here thinking about how interesting it is when I see people giving things away. Good morning, Terry. And you pay attention to the way people are feeling, what you feel coming from people. Good morning, April. When they're taking action. So I don't know if you've ever heard the line, if a child gives something to you, you better take it. You better accept it if they're giving something away. Because that's, you know, their way of giving their heart to you. And I teach my kids a little bit differently because my awareness and my guidance from Spirit is a little different. While I do agree with part of that, there's always going to be the contrasting wisdom that we want to share with them, and this is why. When we give something material away, or time, or whatever it is that we're giving away, if we are missing an aspect of connection or a channel of connection to Spirit, it's almost as if we're giving a part of ourselves away because we have that physical attachment to it. So the difference between just being who you are and being so okay and so authentic with you, there's never an expectation or an attachment to any kind of energy exchange that you receive. It just is. What am I saying? I noticed that one of my friends gets really excited when they have a new toy to share. I call it a new toy because it's a vehicle or a tractor, a four-wheeler, or, obviously um, it can be anything, but those are just a couple of examples. So it's exciting to this person to have something to share with others because there's a real lack of value in themselves. They don't understand why someone would just want to be with them. They don't understand it. So their way of accepting that that other person wants to be with them is by giving something of themselves. In this case, maybe going over and doing work on a tractor, for example, at somebody's house. Now you're doing something. And the reason I recognize it is because I used to do this myself. Not realizing that just by being you, that's enough. But most often, we don't even know who we are. We have lost connection with our bodies. Good morning, Josh. So good to see you, my friend. So we've lost connection with who we are. We've disconnected from our bodies. Even if we have a spiritual awareness, that's up here. That awareness is up here. Just because we have a spiritual awareness does not mean we are connected to Spirit, my friends. And that anything besides accepting that is ego. If there's any excuses or justifications popping up right now, that right there is ego trying to keep hold, keep control of this reality. So understand that when we're giving something away, like for example, somebody might give their time away and volunteer. I'm not saying any of this stuff is wrong. Good morning, Misty. This isn't right or wrong. This just is an observation that I'm inviting you guys to make. Because it's the emotion and the feeling behind the action that can clue us in to whether it's from Spirit or from ego. Good morning. So understand that when we are trying to give something away out of obligation, that right there is an ego move because it's ego trying to find value in itself because there's got to be an equal energy exchange. When you just are, when you just are who you are authentically and you're so full of yourself, who's heard that one before? You're so full of yourself that you can just be who you are. And maybe somebody who isn't able to be full of themselves or able to be accepting of themselves might look at you as if you're being arrogant. But what I'm going to ask you guys is that your intention? Are you doing what you're doing to be arrogant? I'm going to guess no. Nobody in this group at least is. Nobody listening to this type of message is. Excuse me. I'm being a little froggy with my frog friends back here. Anyway, so if you guys can understand that it's about bringing your awareness into your body, accepting all of your emotions, because that's a really big misconception, is that when you become spiritual, you stop feeling the bad emotions. Like, I'm here to tell you guys, and I tell you this in every video, there's no good or bad or right or wrong emotions. Emotions are innate. They are the blueprint and the map of your body's system. If you are disconnecting, shoving down, pushing away your emotions, that is yourself that you're getting rid of. You are telling yourself that you are not worthy to have these objections, these feelings, these awarenesses, and you're going unconscious. You're going offline is what you're doing with yourself, with spirit, essentially, because each one of those emotions is a communication from spirit. That's how source, communicates with ground control. We're ground control. If you can imagine of it being from that perspective, you understand that everything serves its purpose. And the more filled with spirit you are, and that's all emotions, then the more connected you are with your path, your life purpose, your passions, your abundance. So I'm going to throw this one out here. If there's anybody in here that feels that they are not making enough money, or they don't have enough money in their physical reality, I'm going to invite you, first of all, to consider reaching out to me and doing a synergy session with me to see if my program is a good fit for you or not. But secondly, I'm going to ask you if you're confident enough with who you are, what your gifts are, to share, to just know that being who you are is sharing them with the world. Do you realize just by being you, that's having an impact on the world? You don't have to go start all of these huge causes and all of these acts of kindness and all of these other things, because that will be the natural effect of being you. You don't go start that stuff and then you find yourself. You find yourself and then you go do what Spirit's prompting you to do. Otherwise, you're doing all of this stuff to keep yourself busy and distracted from you, from who you are. You're doing what the rest of the world, what the rest of the world's passions, maybe people who have discovered their passions but don't realize that's what their passion is. So by recognizing this other person's passions, we step into their reality in an attempt to find ours, not realizing that by stepping into ourselves, we automatically will find those things. We'll find the steps that we need to take to get to what our heart is trying to guide us towards. So another observation about this. When you see a beautiful animal running across, a field, like out in a distance, a wild animal even, and you notice their beauty, they weren't trying to attract your attention so that you could see their beauty so they could feel beautiful. They weren't giving you anything. They were just being. And by just being, they gave you something. And that's the difference. By just being yourself and being present with who you are in your body, that's a gift. That, my friends, is your spiritual gift. Your spiritual gift is you. Everything's inside of you. I know I say this all the time, but your gift is just being yourself, just being you. And that is what opens up the opportunities for abundance and prosperity. Because when you realize that you are not without, you're within, you have everything you need, you will be shown the steps. You will be given the opportunities. And it's so different than what we've been taught. It's so different than what we think it is. Anything coming from up here is a pre-programmed response. But when you feel it inside of your body, inside of your heart, that is the real truth. That's the real answer. And it's about shifting that perception, understanding everything has a message, everything is a pattern and a reflection to help us grow, to help us make room for wisdom. We let go of the things that are taking up our time and our energy and our thoughts and our awareness and our consciousness to make room for us. When we make room for us, we naturally do what we're supposed to be doing. And we do it with so much light that you just, of course, it's like a moth to the flame. People want to be around that. It doesn't matter what you're selling, what your practice is, who you're involved with. You're shining a light so bright that everything can see you. Everything you need, everything you desire comes into your awareness because the light is so bright from within that it lights everything up around you and you can finally see. Breathe that in. How good would it feel to just be able to always see from here the real vision, the real awareness. It's not a limited of what I can see with my eyes. We see with our sense of smell, with the what we taste. We experience this world from so many other places than our eyes. Do not let what you see with these deceive you, my friends. Don't let it trick you. You are enough just by who you are, and the more space you create to be you, the faster you will be able to start seeing and noticing everything I'm talking about right now. And you might not see it right now, but somewhere inside of you, you can feel this. You can feel that this resonates because I'm speaking to you from your soul, my soul to your soul. And we are wired to recognize that. The only time we don't recognize it is when we're too afraid to believe this is possible. That's it. Any other time, you can see it, you can feel it, and you can even sense it in your entire being. When somebody's speaking to you on this level, or you're in someone's awareness that's on this level, all I'm doing is I'm channeling a message from spirit to you guys. That's your spirit. We are one. We are connected. You guys have this ability too. I'm just shining my light bright enough so you can notice the light is already inside of you. It's connecting with you, and you're being activated just by listening, just by being together right now. You are creating space for you by letting this fill you up, nourish you, and know that you're enough. So next time you're giving something away, whether it's your emotions, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you get your feelings hurt, it's because you expected something in return and you were doing whatever you were doing as an act of self-worth. You were trying to prove to yourself you were worthy, and it backlashed because the other person doesn't know how to mirror that back because they haven't discovered it in themselves yet. Nobody's right or wrong. It's nobody's fault. But now that you're aware, our feelings don't get hurt. Our feelings interpret data around us. If our feelings are hurt, it means that other person wasn't ready to mirror that back for us yet. and that wasn't the person to use as a sounding board. That's all that means. It's just data for us to interpret. And I'm not going to get in deeper. We go in really deep in my leadership course into these things so you can have a deeper understanding and be able to accept the different steps that it takes to get there, to have that understanding. But for now, just use these as seeds for growth and let them start growing. Shine some light, give them some water. See what happens when you just be with yourself. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Much love to you guys.